stardom and wealth can entail tragic costs. Tragically, drug addiction has destroyed the lives of many actors, including starlets from Friends and Iron Man, as well as other famous icons. Come with us as we expose the tragic impact of substance misuse on famous people by delving into the lives of 20 celebrities whose careers were tragically derailed by addiction. Number 20, Lindsay Lohan. Many stories involve childhood superstars and drugs. Lindsay Lohan's life is only one of them. A star of The Parent Trap, she battled substance abuse, alcoholism, and driving under the influence, DUI, and tried recovery multiple times. At the age of 18, she left behind her family and friends when she became famous on Mean Girls. She then relocated to Los Angeles. Her reputation for wild parties and drug use rose rapidly here. At the age of 21, after a DUI, Lohan started going to 12-step groups, where she learned that drinking may lead to other drugs, like cocaine. After a while, she made a triumphant return in 2022, starring in a Netflix original film, and she attributes her newfound health to yoga, cooking, and meditation. Number 19, Heath Ledger. A lethal cocktail of 6 prescription medications claimed the life of actor Heath Ledger in 2008. His performance in The Dark Knight, for which he received a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in 2009, was the film in which he died soon after its release. In order to cope with the chronic stress and sleeplessness brought on by the part, the actor said that he had resorted to the use of painkillers, anti-anxiety medicine, and sleeping pills. The tale of Heath Ledger shows how stress may lead to drug abuse and the risks it poses. Number 18, Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was catapulted into stardom as soon as he learned to walk, and he went on to feature in multiple box office smashes in the 1980s. Heroin addiction started when the actor was a teenager. His addiction was probably influenced by his childhood experiences with abuse, neglect, and young stardom. His career never fully recovered, even after he achieved sobriety in 1995. He wanted to shed light on the issue of child abuse in the entertainment industry and provide support to those going through the same thing. Number 17, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has battled substance use problems, in addition to his numerous film appearances over the past 2 decades. The actor came clean about his struggles with substance abuse and smoking when he was 11 years old, both of which he blamed for the difficulties he had as a child. His therapist just recently came clean about his battles with prescription narcotics, stimulants, and benzodiazepines, all of which can have fatal overdose effects if abused. Depp has sought therapy from professionals after realizing he has an addiction. Number 16, Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst battled addiction in her 20s, despite her fame from the Spider-Man films. In 2008, the actress checked herself into a treatment facility, explaining that her substance abuse stemmed from depression. She turned to booze and narcotics like ecstasy after breaking off a romance to dull the pain of her emotions. Dunst is back to normal now that she got treatment for her addiction and sadness. Number 15, River Phoenix. River Phoenix was born to John and Arlen Phoenix on August 23, 1970, in Madras, Oregon. The parents were members of the Children of God religious sect until 1978, when they departed. River was a highly regarded talent of the 1980s and early 1990s. The nomadic lifestyle of River's family defined his formative years. They traveled extensively throughout the Americas and South America. Joaquin Phoenix, also known as Leaf, was one of River's siblings who followed in his footsteps as an actor. Their parents had always supported their artistic and spiritual pursuits. A natural skill and charismatic personality helped catapult Phoenix into the limelight in Hollywood, albeit his unconventional background. A breakout performance in the critically acclaimed film Stand By Me launched a promising career for him. Phoenix battled personal difficulties, including addiction, beneath the surface of her achievement. Tragically, Phoenix, his sister Joaquin, and his lover Samantha Mathis were in the Viper Room, a famous nightclub co-owned by Johnny Depp, on the evening of October 30th, 1993. Phoenix chose to remain and play with the band P, despite Mathis's worries about the vibe. His companions were alerted to his concerns that he may have overdosed when he started to feel ill during the performance. Just a few moments after that, he passed out outside the club, his body giving in to the lethal mix of heroin and cocaine. After Phoenix passed away, his loved ones grieved the loss of a cherished son, sibling, and companion. Emotionally reflecting on his life and the awful circumstances of his death, his mother Arlen, later known as Hart, urged society to tackle the realities of drug misuse in a letter she wrote. Number 14, Robert Downey Jr.'s early exposure to drugs, as a result of being born into a family where substance misuse was regrettably common, paved the way for his own challenges in later years. He had a perilous early acquaintance with substance usage since his cult filmmaker father, Robert Downey Sr., gave him permission to smoke marijuana when he was an alarmingly young 6 years old. Chaplin earned Downey an Oscar nomination, and his breakout role in Less Than Zero catapulted him to stardom in the mid to late 80s, despite his troubled personal life. But behind the scenes, his addiction became a major problem, resulting in numerous arrests and jail terms. A dark phase in Downey's life culminated in a year-long prison sentence, marred by multiple arrests and failed attempts at rehabilitation. He didn't make a commitment to rehabilitation until he hit rock bottom, was arrested again, and sacked from his TV show. Downey took a more all-encompassing approach to his recovery with the help of his wife and his renewed commitment to sobriety. He participated in 12-step groups, went to therapy, meditated, and practiced martial arts. After he became sober, Downey's career took off again, and he became famous for his role as Iron Man in the MCU. Mel Gibson, an actor himself, underwrote his insurance, allowing him to regain his position as one of Hollywood's most coveted leading men. As proof of the transformative power of grit and determination, he is now one of Hollywood's most bankable and handsomely compensated performers. Number 13, David Hasselhoff. The legendary actor David Hasselhoff, who starred in Baywatch and Knight Rider, has been through a lot in his life. Although he is most known for his roles as a charismatic lifeguard and a dashing crime fighter, his battles with substance abuse also garnered media attention. The suspicions about Hasselhoff's struggle with alcoholism gained momentum in 2009 when news broke that he had been hospitalized following a drinking spree. It was no secret that Hasselhoff struggled with addiction, even though his representatives denied reports of alcohol poisoning. During their marriage, his ex-wife Pamela Bach went so far as to accuse him of being a falling down drunk and of domestic abuse. However, Hasselhoff's girls were instrumental in his road to rehabilitation during all of the chaos. Taylor Ann, his daughter, recorded him in a drunken stupor in 2007, and the footage went viral. Hasselhoff finally faced his addiction and got treatment after this realization. He gives credit to his girls for bringing his issues to light and making him understand he needed to make a change. Hasselhoff has made efforts towards redemption, despite his background. One of his many works that draws from his life is the musical Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, in which he portrays a hedonistic Ibiza DJ. Hasselhoff stresses the significance of open communication and honesty in parent-child relationships by reflecting on his previous errors and how they affected his family. Although Hasselhoff's personal problems have taken a backseat to his job at times, he is thankful for the love and support of his fans and the chances he has been given in the entertainment industry. His commitment to staying sober and leading a healthier lifestyle is unwavering, even in the face of obstacles. Number 12, Judy Garland, actress and singer. Judy Garland was much loved for her mesmerizing performances in both film and live performance. But behind the scenes, Garland battled an addiction that ruined her life and career. As a result of her rapid ascent to stardom and demanding filming schedule, the adored The Wizard of Oz actress allegedly developed an addiction to alcohol and prescription drugs. She had a terrible overdose of barbiturates, but her battle with substance use disorder persisted throughout her entire life. Number 11, Brittany Murphy. Famous for her appearances in Clueless and 8 Mile, Brittany Murphy tragically died at the age of 32 after a long battle with drug addiction. Murphy endured personal struggles away from the camera, despite her contagious and charming on-screen presence. She allegedly started dabbling in narcotics when she was quite young, and her addiction only became worse as her career took off. In an effort to manage the stresses of Hollywood and her profession, Murphy turned to prescription drugs, including antidepressants and painkillers. The effects of Murphy's addiction on her private and public life were devastating. Her relationships were turbulent, she had money problems, and her conduct on set was unpredictable. She had a hard time escaping her addiction, even after trying recovery and going through phases of sobriety. Upon arrival at the hospital, Murphy was declared deceased after being discovered comatose in her house in December 2009. Anemia due to iron deficiency and various drug intoxications were identified as secondary factors, with pneumonia being the official cause of death. She clearly has a serious problem with addiction, as the toxicology report showed that she was in the system of multiple prescription drugs. Even though Murphy's career was cut short, her unforgettable performances and global significance ensure that her legacy will endure. Nevertheless, her passing is a stark reminder of the terrible toll that addiction takes and the critical importance of providing more help to individuals who are battling this disease. Number 10, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Selected for the Academy Awards, tragic celebrity addiction stories include Philip Seymour Hoffman. The star of Capote battled alcoholism and heroin use in her early adult years, finally checking herself into a rehab facility when she was 21 years old. He died in 2014 from mixed drug intoxication, relapsing after 20 years of sobriety. His lifelong path to recovery is highlighted by his partner's extensive list of circumstances that most likely caused his relapse. Number 9, Drew Barrymore. From rising fame as a child star to a Hollywood powerhouse, Drew Barrymore's career has been full of ups and downs, including a public struggle with addiction. Barrymore began her career at a young age, but she struggled with substance misuse from the beginning. The demands of stardom and her troubled family life only made matters worse. Barrymore rose to stardom quickly despite being born into an acting dynasty, but her early struggles with depression and anxiety overshadowed her achievements. She started drinking when she was 11 years old, became addicted to cocaine when she was 12 years old, and attempted suicide when she was 13 years old, landing her in the hospital. Barrymore persisted in seeking therapy and battling her issues in spite of these obstacles. There was no straight path that led her to recovery. After her third marriage ended in 2016 and she was left feeling lonely and pained, Barrymore began drinking heavily to dull the agony. Addiction has a catastrophic effect on human connections. Her relapse caused her relationships with loved ones to become strained, and she lost her long-standing therapist. But with the steadfast encouragement of friends like Cameron Diaz and a fresh determination, Barrymore mustered the courage to face her addiction head-on again. The opportunity to tell her story and encourage others on their road to recovery was a turning point in her life, and she attributes it all to her daytime talk program. Barrymore has overcome not just her own demons, but also the intricate maze of Hollywood stardom and the weight of her childhood stardom. Even though Barrymore was once told she was unemployable and faced rejection, she persisted and eventually established herself as a multi-talented director, producer, and actress. Number 8, Robin Williams. The public persona of the adored actor and comedian Robin Williams frequently concealed the fact that he had a long-term struggle with drug addiction. Williams, who came into this world in 1951, shot to stardom in the 70s as a result of his stand-up comedy acts. He then went on to star in films and TV shows, including Good Morning Vietnam, Dead Poets Society, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Addiction, especially to alcohol and cocaine, was a private battle for Williams, despite his public success. He battled anxiety and sadness for a large portion of his life, and his addiction problems were closely related to these. Although it was an effective coping method, Williams's use of alcohol and drugs to self-medicate and escape from his inner demons frequently made his mental health problems worse. Famously, he said, "Cocaine is God's way of telling you are making too much money." Williams tried to take charge of his life again and again throughout the years by getting help for his addiction and participating in recovery programs. Despite this, his struggle with substance misuse was an ever-present part of his life, interspersed with periods of recovery and subsequent relapses. Williams's troubles with substance abuse affected his personal relationships as well as his professional life, leading to marital strife and professional setbacks. He made an honest attempt to get over his problems, but addiction loomed large over his life, highlighting the difficulties of dealing with mental health issues and substance misuse. Williams's tragic death by suicide in August 2014 was the tragic end to his fight with addiction. Williams's impact is still felt today, even though his last years were shrouded in tragedy. In addition to his hilarious antics, he is recognized for the positive influence he had on people's lives through his generosity, friendliness, and selflessness. Number 7, Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes won over audiences with her charisma and talent.
I cut my bare feet on rocks and glass and stuff.
In both big and small screen productions. She was once considered one of Hollywood's most promising young stars. On the other hand, Bynes' fight with drug addiction was a public spectacle that shone through all the glitter and beauty. As a child star, Bynes debuted on Nickelodeon's popular sketch comedy series All That, and went on to host her own show, The Amanda Show. She was born in 1986. Swiftly moving into film, she became acclaimed for her roles in What a Girl Wants and Hairspray. But as she dealt with the hazards of adolescent popularity and the demands of fame, Bynes' life took a tragic turn. Notable incidents involving her unpredictable conduct and run-ins with the authorities surfaced in the late 2000s, marking the start of her public battle with substance usage. When Bynes was arrested for DUI in 2012 and then charged with reckless endangerment and possession of marijuana, her addiction problems reached a peak. Her life and career took a dramatic shift after these events, which worried both her legion of followers and those close to her in the profession. Bynes kept encountering obstacles and public scrutiny even after she made efforts to deal with her addiction and mental health difficulties, such as attending psychiatric treatment centers and rehab on her own will. Her public tantrums and increasingly odd social media statements caused some to worry about her mental health. After Bynes set fire to a stranger's driveway in 2013, her behavior escalated to the point where she was involuntarily placed under psychiatric hold. At this juncture in her struggle with substance abuse and mental health, she made the decision to withdraw from public view and concentrate on getting well. Thankfully, Bynes has shown some encouraging signs of improvement and stability in her life in recent years. She hinted at a possible comeback and renewed excitement for the future in 2020, when she announced her engagement and stated her wish to return to acting. Bynes has been quite outspoken about her battles with substance abuse and mental health in recent years, openly discussing the effects of stardom and the pressures of growing up in the spotlight. She is dedicated to staying sober and putting her health first, and she has thanked everyone who has helped her along the way. Number 6, Mel Gibson. Famed for his parts in blockbuster films like Braveheart and the Lethal Weapon films, Mel Gibson has experienced a career full of highs and lows. He became an iconic Hollywood leading man thanks to his impassioned performances and rough charisma, which won over audiences around the world. But behind the scenes, Gibson fought his own issues, such as an alcoholism that had persisted for a long time. His unpredictable behavior and many public tantrums brought him unwanted attention and tarnished his standing in the profession. When Gibson was arrested for DUI in Malibu, California in 2006, it was one of the most notorious instances concerning his drunken antics. Gibson sparked widespread controversy and backlash when, during the arrest, he shouted anti-Semitic comments to the officer who was apprehending him. Gibson sought treatment for his destructive conduct and drunkenness after the incident and checked into a rehabilitation center. He then apologized for his conduct and openly discussed his battles with addiction. His actions and issues stained Gibson's reputation even after he made an effort to beat his addiction. On the other hand, he has had a share of career highs and lows, including receiving praise for his directing on films like Hacksaw Ridge. Gibson has been more busy behind the scenes as a producer and director in recent years, keeping a low profile in Hollywood. Although he has encountered difficulties, he has shown perseverance and a determination to improve himself and find forgiveness. Number 5, Matthew Perry. Despite his fame from playing Chandler Bing on Friends, Matthew Perry struggled with addiction for the majority of his life. His struggles with addiction started in the late 90s, when Friends was at its peak, and they lasted for a good chunk of his career. The part that Matthew Perry played on the hit sitcom Friends from 1994 to 2004 brought him immense popularity. Off-screen, though, he was fighting an addiction to prescription drugs and alcohol, which the public had no idea about. The actor claims that a prescription for opioids following a watercraft accident led to his addiction. Perry still fights his addiction to this day, despite numerous surgeries, near-death experiences, and attempts at rehabilitation. He views assisting others as an important step toward his own recovery. Number 4, Macaulay Culkin. Beloved child actor. Macaulay Culkin of Home Alone fame had a turbulent life characterized by stardom, riches, and addiction.
Ronald, my address is 656 Lincoln Boulevard. My name's Mark.
Despite the millions of people he made happy in his classic roles, Culkin's private life was a mess due to his drug problems and legal troubles. When Culkin was 24 years old in 2004, he was arrested for possessing marijuana and a prohibited narcotic without a prescription. This arrest made news. The media went into overdrive, reporting on his purported drug use, creating an image of an unstable celebrity whose life was slipping away. Culkin, though, has spoken out and categorically denied the exaggerated claims. Claiming that tabloids were exaggerating his heroin addiction, he denied a $6,000 monthly habit in an open interview with The Guardian. "I don't just turn my back on fame. I actively don't want it," he declared, demonstrating his independence and distaste for the famous industry. Despite the paparazzi's dogged pursuit, Culkin remained out of the limelight due to his desire for seclusion. In spite of everything he's been through, Culkin has shown remarkable perseverance. He took charge of his own financial situation and sense of autonomy when he decided to formally divorce his parents when he was 15 years old. This uncommon decision demonstrated his resolve to protect his money and independence in an industry known for its exploitative practices. Both Culkin's personal life and his career have experienced tremendous changes in the past several years. They have a son, Dakota, and he fell in love with Brenda Song, another former child star. He has found stability and delight in his partnership, which has given him purpose beyond the glitter of Hollywood. These days, Culkin prefers to keep to himself, devoting his time to his artistic endeavors such as his lifestyle website Bunny Ears and his rock band The Pizza Underground. A symbol of perseverance and new beginnings, he has overcome adversity in the past. Number 3, Marilyn Monroe. Despite her iconic status, Marilyn Monroe struggled with mental illness and substance abuse throughout her life. Despite her stunning screen presence, Monroe struggled with mental health challenges and a troubled life. Unfortunately, addiction swiftly followed Marilyn Monroe's meteoric climb to stardom. Her addiction had progressed to the point where she was unable to work. Her friends said that she was suffering from anxiety and sadness due to the increased public scrutiny and loss of privacy. An overdose of barbiturates in 1962, probably as a result of suicide, ended her brilliant career. The life of Marilyn Monroe exemplifies how addiction frequently stems from its origins in celebrity culture and co-occurring diseases. Number 2, Tara Reid. Successes and failures, highs and lows, have all been part of Tara Reid's Hollywood path. She became famous after starring as Victoria Vicky Latham in the classic 1999 film American Pie. She was born and raised in New Jersey. Sadly, her career veered off course after her breakthrough role, and many of her later works fell short of expectations. The public has paid close attention to Reid's private life as much as her public career problems. There have been rumors that she has been seen at parties and clubs, sometimes with a drink in her hand, leading to accusations of substance misuse. It is evident that her troubles are rather significant, since her heavy drinking resulted in liver damage and a 2007 hospitalization. Rehab was a daring step for Reid to take in 2008 when she decided to deal with her troubles. Sources close to the actor said that she had a drinking problem, but they would not say why she admitted herself. Reid then began an unexpected return to the workforce. She became famous after landing the role of April Wexler in the critically acclaimed Sharknado film series, which attracted millions of viewers and went viral on social media. Reid redoubled her efforts to resurrect her career, seizing control of her own fate and searching for fresh chances, even though she struggled with alcohol again in the years that followed. Number 1, Corey Monteith. Hollywood is a world where first impressions are often misleading, as the story of Corey Monteith demonstrates. Many were astonished to hear about Monteith's struggle with heroin addiction, given his clean-cut image and his position as the beloved Finn Hudson on Glee. The celebrity's battle with addiction began at an early age. He began dabbling in booze and drugs when he was only 13 years old. The addiction that Monteith was suffering from did not go away